Yeah, maybe people might need be careful the chitter chatter, isn't it?
Yeah, or it just might be easier if they need to mute. I didn't hear it then, so that's good. Hi everyone. For those that don't know me, I'm Lizzie. I'm the CEO of New Zealand Pony Club. I'm thinking I've probably met quite a few of you down while you've been hosting the South Island Show Jumping Champs over the last 2 years, and of course at Champs Week. I always love coming down and meeting you all, so thank you so much. A little bit about me. I've been the CE of New Zealand Pony Club coming up 2 years, and prior to that I was a Pony Club member from age 4 all the way till 20, and then stepped away and came back as a mum when I came back from Indonesia with an 8-year-old. And I must say, I was, for my first season of Pony Club at my local branch, I was a bit dissatisfied. And then I realised I couldn't actually complain because I didn't actually offer to help. So took on a vice president role, became president, and I've been a DC and then stepped away when my daughter once again left Pony Club, only for her to rejoin again, and she stepped away again. And she's actually a member in a different club now in a different area, just because she wants to come to Champs Week. So that's a little bit about me. So as I said, I really appreciate you all being here tonight. Yeah, so thank you. So I'm just going to share the screen. And as I said before, these are being recorded, and you are my 10th meeting. So our 10th area. And one thing I've loved is getting to meet you all and hearing about your stories and about your clubs and your branches, because we're all so completely different. It's definitely not a one size fits all in New Zealand Pony Club, and there's not one area the same. Is everyone being able to see the screen at the moment? Is it popped up? Perfect.
Yep.
So if you've got questions as we go through, please let me know. Hopefully as we go along, the more practical slides. So at the start, we'll just start with a bit of a reminder. So tonight we're just going to recap the proposal that we've put out in place. So the board have proposed that we become a 3-layer organisation, and that is at the same time as we're updating the Constitution. We don't have to do the 3-layer organisation, but we must update our Constitution because of the Incorporated Societies Act of 2022. But why they have proposed this is they have to do a whole complete rewrite of the Incorporated Societies in our Constitution. It was so different, the draft that we got from Sports NZ. So we waited for them because we're under their umbrella. So we got it end of September, October. We tried it ourselves first, and it was so different that nothing just became an easy marked change. We did try that, but it was just so different. So it was like, why not have a proposal, have a discussion of what that would look like. So we'd also like to discuss what your area would look like under this 3-layer organisation. Currently we're under a 4-layer, but some places do also have 3 layers, so it's a 3 or 4-layer organisation. We want to share the process and the timeline if a change in structure was voted on by our members at the National AGM, and we want to share the process and the timeline for updating the constitutions as part of the Incorporated Societies. Now, this is definitely consultation because this is only a proposal, and we know that it appears to be quite a tight timeline, but the board feel that it's a doable timeline, or else they wouldn't have proposed it. But if there are questions, please jump in. We definitely want, from our consultation phase, feedback from everyone. We're not asking for area feedback as a collective group or club feedback as a collective group or branch. We're wanting feedback actually from members to get the members' voice. The deadline says there it's the end of May, but it's actually just before the board meeting. I talked to Will today and he's like, we can work with raw data. So before the board meeting on the 5th of June. I keep on saying the 4th, it's the 5th. All the feedback is going to help with the final version of the Constitution, and it's not just a rubber stamping exercise. So in the Constitution we're focusing on tonight is the structural layers, but there's two other features of the Constitution that are also changing. The simplification of the disputes process and what powers we've got in the disputes process currently, because in disputes currently, a club dispute, a branch dispute has to go to the club, a club dispute has to go to the area, and it's a little bit of grey zone. So we're wanting to make that simpler and a bit more support. Like my role is here to support you, and we've also got the proposal that that we'd no longer have a president position, which is something that was brought over from the committee management day. Instead, have myself, the board, and a New Zealand-based patrons. We're keeping our current patron being Janelle as well, but also a New Zealand-based patron, which would be very similar to the president, but just without the formalisation of the structure. But they're the things that we can talk about as we go along. The vote for the final changes, as I said, are at our AGM in August. So that's a bit of what's on tonight. Our reason for these meetings was that when we were starting to work, Kelly and I were working on the introduction, it really became quite obvious that our idea was really abstract, and we wanted to show what it could look like per area because it would look differently, and we really want to get your input because it's your area, and we really wanted to see how it could work. I personally know that it would be really hard for me to vote if something was so conceptual. So these sessions are really designed to help you get an understanding what it might look like. After this meeting, you will get 4 minutes and these slides and of course the link to the video. So hopefully tonight we can look at the day-to-day operation, decision-making authority, any event coordination and delivery, any communication and reporting lines, and also how we'd support our volunteers and members in any structural change or any change at all. Okay. So this is a little bit from the first webinars. I know that quite a few of you came to the first webinars, and I know that you've also been having your own Zoom meetings. So the why now, as I said, the board felt it was a really ideal time to look at the organisation structure because they have to update the constitutions, and they have to update the constitution nationally, and then it goes down. So it was really the ideal time. If you're going to take a layer out, you'd want to take it out now, but there's always the option currently for layers to be removed and clubs to merge, or clubs to close, or areas or branches and clubs to move areas. It's just not a well-known process. So this governing document, the Constitution, it's basically the governing set of the organisation, what the organisation goes into. It's about the policies and the powers, but it's not the set of rules. The rules of our organisation are our general regulations. They are our event regulations. Like, so when you're running an event like Champs Week, they're in there. If you've got champs or riders trialling for teams, they're in our event regulations, our certificate regulations. So they're all to the side. They fall out of the Constitution. So the Constitution does outline all the membership types, and it's definitely a draft for discussion. And it's not for our areas, clubs or branches at this stage. But they all filter down. And then what our massive job after that is to make sure that what's in the Constitution is reflected in the general regulations. And at the moment, you might be aware that at times what's in the Constitution has got a little bit twisted in the general regulations or the job descriptions or the event regulations, but always the Constitution is the guiding document. So if you're ever wondering, and you go, oh, the event regulations say this, or the general regulations say this, it's what's said in the Constitution that wins out if there was a discussion. So we've got a timeline, and I know for you guys we're nearing the end of May. So sorry about that. We just could only fit in so much. And this is where we're discussing what it could look like for a 3-layer structure. What would your areas look like? And this is only a proposal, so this is the full constitution. We started before this in April with the introduction webinars. So the 5th of June board meeting is quite an important meeting because the board are going to take whatever feedback they've got now and they're going to decide, do we strive ahead with this proposal or do we stick to what we've currently got, which allows areas to be a 3-layer structure, but it doesn't become that it's a must and everyone must follow it. So that is the feedback they need to do, because to actually bring in a constitutional change like this, there needs to be 75%. So we need to know that before we write a constitution based on a 3-layer structure, that we have the support of our membership, and that is what the membership wants. If the feedback is telling us that no, it's not what is wanted, and they want to maintain the 3 current layers, which is 3 or 4, that's what the constitution will look like. It would look like a constitution with New Zealand Pony Club, areas, clubs without branches, and then branches underneath. If it was a 3-layer tier, it would be New Zealand Pony Club, an administrative layer, which is where all of this comes in, and then your clubs. So as I said, we wanted feedback, and I'll show you the survey a little bit later on. In July, because it's got to be 30 days before the AGM, I have to send out to you all the constitution that you're going to vote on, because that is where the AGM vote comes in, and that is when the areas get 1 vote. So Ashburton, South Canterbury, North Otago gets 1 vote, and that's based on what the clubs want. The clubs get up to 3 votes based on their writing numbers, and that's based on what their branches or their members want. And that is just a normal motion at a monthly meeting. That doesn't need, and it could even be over Zoom if you don't have a monthly meeting. That is not an SGM, it's just a normal meeting. That is the kind of normal meeting when, if we were having board votes, which we do, you would be saying, oh, we want to vote for that person, or we want to say to that person, and telling your delegate how to vote. So I think that's probably the most important part, is that we need to get it to you so you can decide to vote. If you're not coming to the AGM, if your club isn't coming to the AGM, you cannot proxy vote, but you can electronic vote. And all of those details come out in July. So you basically say to me, I want an electronic vote. You send me your electronic vote, because I'm the returning officer. By a certain day, I don't look at it. And then at the AGM, I open it up. It will be on like a form, and you'll tell me what you want to vote for. Constitution. The constitution is most likely going to be a yes or no. It's not going to be broken into parts. Unfortunately, I have to get this from the board, but the chatter is that it's going to be voted on as a collective. So it's not going to be broken up to layers, president disputes. It's a collective. So that's why that feedback is really important early on. So they present you with a constitution that we know that the members want. Any questions up to August? Okie dokie. At the AGM, when it's voted in, whatever constitution it is, it will be immediately submitted to the Incorporated Societies Act as soon as I have the AGM minutes. So it will be submitted to the Incorporated. And I know, though, that the person who is drafting it for us, he is going to be working. He is going to be, apparently my device is under stress. So it's turned off all your videos. Sorry about that. Don't know why. He is going to be working and getting whatever we're presenting, the next layers already drafted. So you basically can get it as soon as it comes out, August, September. And that is, if we're going for a 3-layer structure, we imagine at conference we'd have workshops, we'd be working with you, finalising what it would look like in your area or your region. Full support from NZPCA and resources, and between October and March, all of those SGMs adopting the constitution, they have to go back to New Zealand Pony Club to be checked. I've had a lot of people say, why do they have to be checked? because being a constitution, it has to follow the national organisation, and only the board can approve any changes to our organisation constitution. The biggest changes that you'll probably be currently aware of when you ask for a reduced quorum, and you send me an email and I go, okay, I'll take it to the board, and they either approve or deny a reduced quorum from normally 7 members of a committee to 5. That's a constitutional change. It just doesn't happen. It's got to have approval. So that is in there. The only things I can think of that they might be constitutional changes that you might need to ask for is you have to have 10 members under the new constitution, not 15. It's 10. But what does that look like? Is it going to be 5 and 5? Is it going to be 4 under 25s and 6 adults? Or is it going to be 10 youth? It's got to be a total of 10. And of course, we've got to have officers over the age of 18 that hold positions. So it might be, if you're a really small club with not many youth members, you might come to us and go, we've got 10 members, but we've only got 2 under 25s, but we're actively working with you to look at different memberships and getting more people in. That might be a constitutional change that the board will let happen at that phase before it's gone to the incorporated societies. And then on the 5th of April, it's the deadline, and new constitutions will be in. And if we're changing our structure, we'd have like a nationwide gypsy day where it's like everything happens on that day. Okay?
Just like that.
Yes, Sue.
Just so with the members, are you saying that we need to have at least 5 youth members?
No. I'm
so
not saying
if they're all adults, is that okay?
Okay, so no. So currently in the Constitution, it is written this way. You must have 15 members, of which 8 are adults. It is inferred that the other 7 should be under 25, being a youth organisation, but it is not stated clearly. And being a youth organisation, there has been some comments about that it needs to have a youth focus.
Okay.
So there is potentially going to be stated that there's got to be so many youth, or that is the objective. But if it's not, if you can't reach that objective, but you're actively trying to get there, there would be room, that wiggle room.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. But it depends on it's like, if those clubs that have got more adults, but they're following the purpose of Pony Club, that's probably more of the key.
All of our branches at the moment, we don't have an adult member, a riding member. All of in our area, we have adults and their child, and then adults that haven't got children there, but they've got a role. So that's why they're there. So we haven't got, so what you, like in the North Island, you were saying that in other meetings that, you've got adult members that haven't got children there, and they ride. So we haven't got that situation in our area.
We have at Mill Creek, thank you.
Okay. So and what sort of numbers, Susan?
I think about 15, I'm not sure.
Okay, right. And North Otago have got a riding club side as well, but that's not
separate. No, it's separate.
Yeah, club that's separate. Yeah. So it is only Mill Creek then that has. Okay.
Yeah, we have adult riders. Yep, and we run separate rallies for them.
Yeah.
As well. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, I've got your numbers coming up later on, and nothing jumped out at me this morning. Nothing was a red flag when I looked earlier today. So I think you're all operating.
Great.
Operational. It's more later on when we talk about riding clubs and asset separation. There's potentially a little bit of a subject. Okay. So currently, as we know, we've got 15 areas, we've got 87 clubs, and those clubs are a mixture of clubs with branches underneath, and then clubs without branches, and then the branches. And you guys have got one club without branches and the rest are clubs with branches, I think, isn't it? 3 of them. I need to look at the slides, sorry, just a little bit tired today. Our areas in New Zealand Pony Club, and as you can see, none of them are the same geographically, and none of them are the same size-wise, and the size does not actually convey in any way, shape or form the number of members. And as you can see, you guys in the South Island, you're very large areas to cover. Yeah. So when we're going through this tonight, these are some of the questions that have come up from areas, and they've asked, will our clubs lose our identity? So we're hoping no, that clubs won't lose their identity, that clubs, if whatever happens, will retain their names, their uniforms and traditions. And currently today, we can still have clubs that merge, and we still have branches that become clubs and they no longer have branches underneath them. And they have retained their names and their uniforms or chosen new traditions or continue to go, and that's just part of it. Like I'm not sure completely on your area, but I know in the Waikato area, Te Kuitian district is now one club, and it used to have 8 branches, but just over time, you know, they've come together. Pony Club, though, I have to say, is still strong. We still have 7,500 members, so this is not about a decline in membership. It's just our membership, our little outlying branches or some of our branches close and others get bigger. And in Pony Club, it's a real cycle, as you know. So 2 years ago, when I came to this job, Carwell Pony Club in Bay of Plenty had 0 members, and today it's got 20. So it just really depends who's at the helm and what happens, and just that whole movement of riders. Is it about closing pony clubs? No, it's definitely, our focus is not about closing pony clubs. We always are aware that there are always clubs closing, but unfortunately, with the Incorporated Societies Act, if any club can't be with 10 members on April next year, they won't be able to continue to exist. And that's not on us. If this wasn't happening, the Incorporated Societies, you'd just be keeping on going. But what we do always do is we keep a track on the numbers and do chat to people all the time about merging or closing or how they're going or how can we help, or, you know, have they thought about this idea or this idea. It's definitely not about reducing events either. This is really about focusing on where your kids go to Pony Club, where they spend their most time. And why we're just calling it clubs at that lowest level is because I don't really ever hear anyone go, or maybe they do in your area, I'm going to my pony branch. I'm going to my pony branch today. They always say I'm going to Pony Club. So just that thinking of Pony Club, like the rugby club, like the cricket club, like the tennis club, even though I know you're a branch in lots of cases. If anything did happen and you were to merge or close, this is still happens today, all your assets remain within your area and your club. Unfortunately, in the Constitution, it's really clear that assets are historical because they've been built up over that time, and they must stay in Pony Club. It's part of the current Constitution. So you can't go and gift your money when you're closing, unfortunately, to the Cat Sanctuary down the road. You can't give it to the SPCA. And that is why we've got to be really careful that Pony Club assets stay in Pony Club. And I am aware that historically in some areas, there's been Pony Club assets that have been purchased with the AMP or a riding club, and it's about keeping those clear and set. But you'd already be keeping those assets clear and set in your annual reports. So you can't then go and go, oh, we're going to give those to the AMP. It's about that clear staying in Pony Club. New Zealand Pony Club, the board approves where your assets go, and it can say no. So if you said, I'm going to give it to the local cat sanctuary, they'd say no, even if there was some massive big reason. So they want assets to stay within your area for your members to use. We did get questions about, are we still going to be able to host events? Absolutely. I imagine that the everyday running of your clubs and that administrative layer should basically run pretty much the same. We're getting lots of questions about events like Eventing Champs or Champs Week. And my answer is they are already being reviewed. And our focus on that is to get as many riders to events as we can and remove barriers. So I was probably lucky. I grew up in the King Country and went to Pony Club Champs in 1987. We didn't have a team. It wasn't an issue. We sent 3 DCs. So we never had full teams. So I didn't grow up with that concept of, oh, I've got to be part of a team. But we know nowadays that we really want to get riders there, and what we want is our areas and our clubs to go, absolutely, go and represent us. Every club, every area and club in the country is completely different how they support their teams. Completely different. Some charge their teams, some pay their teams away, some don't. They just tick of approval and go, you can go and represent. So it's up to you how you do that.
I have
So
just a
that means
question.
you're,
Sorry, is that you, Sue?
no,
Just
that was
sorry,
Pip, you carry on.
sorry, Pip. So I've just got a question just regarding the asset side of it. So Waimate community have a park that was donated to, and Maureen will be able to kind of help in this scenario as well. It's been a few years I've been away from the community, but I'm back. So the Pony Club, okay, no, we don't physically own the jumps because it is a public venue, but we are fundraising and getting it to the point where we can hold derbies and training days. So far as that asset, if anything was to happen, because it is on public land, what would happen with that? Would it? Yeah, that's probably my question with what
Who currently owns it?
the council.
Council.
No, who owns the assets? So the jumps and things. Is it the club, or is it a branch, or is it a collective club branch situation?
It probably historically it's a group of 3 or 4 different clubs, as in the Hunt, the Pony Club, local fathers that were handy came and gave us a hand. Like, this is going back like when I was a child. And
there's nothing really on there now that you could say is owned by anybody.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So in that situation, if there's no historical, it depends what's in your annual reporting. Like if in your annual report that you get reviewed in the future or audited now, and you say that you've got a cross-country work course worth $50,000, that would be considered an asset. But if you haven't got anything on your annual reporting that states that, then I can't consider it an asset because you haven't got it listed. But if you've got show jumping trailers, then that would be considered an asset.
Correct, and that's what we do. But that's the thing, like we've fundraised for this money, so it's almost like it's a donation back to the community to also support the Pony Club children in a roundabout way from the Pony Club.
As long as you're not going to go and say, well, now we're leaving and we're fencing it all and here you go and now we're leaving it. It would, but there's nothing I can do about that as well. Sorry, the cat. She wants to be part of it. But it's not like you're planning to leave there and you're putting a massive donation in and building an arena and then going, here you go. We're going now. This is there. Goodbye. If that was happening, then your area could go, why did they spend all this money on this venue and then suddenly go and we can no longer use it? But we're not going to go back and look at the historical that you that collectively you all put money into the grounds or things like that. You're still going to be there, you're still going to be using it.
Exactly.
And apparently the incorporated societies, this just came up the other night, that you've already got your grandfather clauses in the incorporated society. So you can't, just because if you change your name from XYZ to ABC, but you're still this local, same identity because the incorporated societies, there's the grandfather clauses still in operation.
Lizzie, can I just ask you, with the new constitution, are we going to be able to still be reviewed, or do we have to be audited?
It's going to be the easiest one.
Review.
Review.
Review. There we
Phew.
go.
Yeah.
So
Reviewed.
it's going to be unless you've got over $3 million worth of
Yes.
turnover in assets.
No.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Catherine.
Because it depends on your tier layers.
Yeah.
So with the assets, so say this all goes through and we've got our branches all become clubs.
Mhm.
What happens if one of those, so in South Canterbury, we'll have 3 clubs.
Yeah.
What happens if one of those branches closes? What happens to the assets from that third branch?
It would go
How would they go? They go up, or would they go
to the
between the other
others.
two?
Between
Okay.
the others.
And that's
Yeah.
going to be written down. That's going to be
Well, you
in-
get
in
to
a-
you get to decide that, but that would be my suggestion, and that's how it operates now. So that's the current operation, and that has
Okay.
to be approved by NZPCA anyway. So yeah,
Okay.
that's the current system, and we do look at it, and some of them come to us, and we were like, you're not even in that area. That's not your club. No. So it's
Okay.
we do look at it retaining into where it's come from.
Mhm. Yep. That's good.
Do any of you own your own land?
No.
Okay. No, because
No,
like
Not-
no
not
matter
aware
what.
of.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So as we said, this constitution and deciding what you look like is completely a democratic process and working with you. So I'll just go on to this next one. So a lot of the thinking, and it might not necessarily be relevant to you, but I know that there's been a lot of chatter, particularly in the north. Are the area boundaries still what we need today? Because, the roads have changed a lot. Rural communities, urban communities have changed a lot. So there's been a little bit of discussion about opening our minds to that as well. Is my branch or club youth focused and providing for the purpose of Pony Club? That has been a real big focus. But I guess, that Pony Club focus, and we'll go on to the next page on that, is that amateur sport with the education focus on horses. Does my branch or club have enough members to operate? And considering that the Incorporated Society is now 10 people, 10 members versus 15, that's quite a nice change. And is my branch or club in the right area? Is it time to move a different area? And that's always been an option, but no one ever kind of considers it. I'm going to up and move my area. So that's just in these discussion points. This one is particularly in Auckland, where Papatoe Pony Club is one part of the road. 5 minutes later, and it's Auckland. 5 minutes later from the same road, it's Ardmore Pony Club that's in Franklin Thames Valley. And then up the road is another pony club that's Franklin Thames Valley. So they're just having discussions about, are they all in the right area? I don't know if it relates to you or not. So basically, this is going to be in all constitutions because we feel it's really important to have the purpose of Pony Club. And it's about, at this level, it's about being the national body, and it's about that administering Pony Club events and activities for recreational, amateur, education. It does say there for the young people of New Zealand. I did be the devil's advocate to the board because when I went to America last year, Pony Club's now open to everyone. There's no age limit for riding and competing. So when I did virtual dressage judging last year, I almost eliminated the 80-year-old in my class. And then they were like, no, remember she's a Pony Club member. She's allowed to be part of this. So they have no age. So just out there, no age. You could ride at your national championships at any age. There's hope for me yet. So that's all about what Pony Club does. It's basically everything we do now. You want to get onto the good stuff. You want to get and have a look at your area. So this would be the proposal of the 3 layers. We know that we do really well at the national body with the vision, values and strategy for New Zealand Pony Club. Our job is to ensure the consistency in the standards, and that's through our national competitions, through our exams, through our national partnerships, through our policies and frameworks, and with our safety and education. And we know that the club layer or branch layer that you've got today is the foundation where the Pony Club riders experience. And this is where we really want to focus on the grassroots, where the riders spend most of their time, where they receive their instruction, they work towards their certificates, and they build their community and have fun. And we want that to be that where the clubs focus on the regular rallies, coaching, developing safe and capable riders. And over the weekend, I've been hearing, because I was down at the coaches conference, I'm hearing so much more about clubs now actually doing shared rallies or rallies that are open to more people in the area, that they can come along and shared coaching and things like that. It's just such a lovely vibe that I'm feeling out there, that it's not like, oh, you're my member, you just come to my club. It's like, actually, we've got a senior ride on, come over and have a rally with us. So that was a really nice thing to hear over the weekend. And we're looking at that middle layer, and originally we did put it out as a name, as a cluster, so it was different than area, and then it went hub. But this is the layer that you could consider as your area. This is your area, the layer that could be a split if you wanted to split and have 2 zones or 2 hubs or 2 clusters. So this is what I consider the current area is. It's kind of the current area with the governance and oversight between the clubs and the national bodies, supporting that local implementation. It's where that facilitates the extension of riders beyond the club environment. So this is those area champs, those area training camps, those talent pathways. It might even want to facilitate inter-club events, but anyone could facilitate inter-club events. Club A, B and C could go, hey, we traditionally have a club event, let's have a club event. It doesn't need to stop because you don't have a formal incorporated society body. We'd love to see this as where you might get the coordination of some funding applications, especially for those events, the ownership if you had any shared resources. We've heard that some places have shared games trailers and shared jumps. Just love this whole concept and just that sharing. A bit like New Zealand Pony Club, we have 12 tablets for Nominate if you ever want to score an event. So we just coordinate the sharing of them. Best practice forums, and that's what the 3 layers would be looking for. And our whole aim of this is to remove that another layer of volunteer burden, because you guys are precious to us. You know, the volunteers is one of our, and keeping you and retaining you is one of the biggest threats to New Zealand Pony Club, because we need you. Any questions? And we
Yes,
appreciate you so
I have
much.
a question. Yep,
Yep.
Susan here. So what would happen to the district commissioner's role? Where would that lie? Obviously, we have one district commissioner for each club that we have, Ashburton, South Canterbury and North Otago.
Mhm.
So would we just
So-
have one district commissioner across all 3 clubs?
So you'd have to decide. That depends what structure you've got going for, but North Otago currently is operating on a club without branches, so they have a district commissioner, and so they've gone by themselves and they have that district commissioner, so that the district commissioner can sign off things like, yes, you're ready to do your certificate, or yes, I don't know what yours is like, you can go for that team, or yes, you can be put in for that award. So no matter what, you still need something somewhere where you've got someone signing off the right to say you can go to the event. So currently it would be the president of Methven, Mill Creek, Rakaia, Timwell, Geraldine, Pleasant Point and Waimate. You'd be signing things off to your clubs. So the role of a president and a district commissioner are not that different, apart from one signs off things. So I assume you'd still need them, but we'd love feedback on it.
That's right, because Kim and I talked about that actually at the coaches conference over the weekend, and it was like, well, what happens? Where does that person go to, or they stay?
Yeah.
And
they'd still be there. I'm just going to welcome Dina from the board. She snuck in there. I didn't see
Sorry.
her. Hey, Dina. Sorry.
Hi, everybody.
It's Dina. It's like, there's this person there. Thanks, Dina. She's from the Waikato. Also a mum. Pony Club.
Yes. Yes.
Welcome.
definitely. Thank
So,
you.
so you'd still need a district commissioner to sign off things, or else you're just going to reinvent the world and say the president can do it. So you still need someone who's got that. I don't want to use the word.
In our situation, then we'd have 8 district commissioners.
Yeah.
So we've got, at the moment, we've got 3 clubs, one without branches, so they've got a district commissioner, and then the other, so South Canterbury and North Otago, South Canterbury and Ashburton, between them we have got 7 branches. So each branch would have a district commissioner and a president.
You don't have to have a president. If you're a club, you have to have a DC. You don't have to have a president.
So will the DC do the president's job?
As in chair the meetings.
As in chair the meetings. So currently,
That's what we do at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what my role was in Tauranga. I was my club president, and I was the DC. We didn't have a president. I just took the role as DC and chaired the meeting. So in a current club structure, the president is an optional role.
And will that carry on into the new constitution?
I can't imagine it wouldn't. I don't think
that's good.
It wouldn't. That you still need the roles of, you still need some officers. You still need someone responsible for signing that off. You still need someone responsible for taking the minutes. Someone responsible for being in charge of the money. You not like us, not like the Board of New Zealand Pony Club.
The DC role was quite a prestigious role to have, wasn't it? Really, it used to be in years gone by. It was what people built up to wanting to be the DC of their club. Whereas it's not going to be quite the same now, is it? With it being, there's going to be 8 DCs within our area.
I thought I was just the silly one who no one else wanted to do it, personally.
That's why Sue's still there.
And I guess I can show you some other areas in a minute, that other areas already, like as I said, every area is different. I went to one the other night. I can't remember whose it was. And unlike you, they had everything as clubs and one club with branches. So they already had 7 DCs and they only still had one club with branches. It might have been the Hawke's Bay, actually. They've got Hiratonga as a club with branches underneath, and everyone else is just a club. So I guess it's just what they've rolled with and they've got used to. So North Otago, you're here, you've got a DC, you probably do exactly the same as Tim Weldon, Rakaya and Mill Creek and Methven do, but you're one. Were you originally branches underneath you, North Otago?
Yeah, there were.
Yes, there were. Yeah,
there were.
Just 5 branches, 5 to 7.
And now you do the same amount. You probably do exactly the same as all of them did.
Sorry, you mean each branch used to do the same things? Is that
Yeah, but like when you all combine, like you still currently do what you would have done if you were in a branch, but now you're a club by yourself.
I'm just really. Is this not okay? So the DC, there is some pony club knowledge that DC or that person that has that role has more than a president may have. Like, are we not narrowing down our pool of people that can actually do that job by saying you have to be the DC or the president? Like, I know we've, our president could probably stand in and do the DC scenario. Would she want to? Probably not.
Probably not. Just getting
Yeah.
worried about that.
Thanks, Dana. But that's what I'm saying is, are we, by going, okay, you are either a president or a DC and everyone has to have one, are we narrowing down our capabilities as an area and a group of pony clubs?
So if you don't want to have a DC and you think that we should just have presidents, that the roles that you have in the National Constitution are not defined. This comes into when we have the club constitutions. So the club constitution will go into the difference of what the club president is and what the club DC is. So that comes into the club constitution. It's not labelled anywhere until the club constitution. So we do have a little bit of a chance to work and go which one's needed. So I've got them, wait a second, I'll just pull them like aside so you can see both of them at the same time. Sorry, they're going to be a little bit small. Where is it? There it is. So you've got both of them here side by side. So you've got the president. So the role clause, the role and purpose, or the chairperson, president, district commissioner oversees all. The chairperson, president and district commissioner oversees all activities and responsibility of the club and its branches. Oversees all activities, responsibility of clubs and its branches. So they're basically the same. Mm-hmm. The chairperson, president will chair all meetings and ensure the business of the club is carried out. Okay. So that doesn't say that over there. To provide sound leadership, to uphold the values of NZPCA, to hold the principles. Basically. So actually, the president on this role responsibility has slightly more in the role responsibility, but I guess in the role accountabilities, there's a bit of a bigger list.
Why that just be a decision of each club?
Yeah, it could easily be a decision of each club. We could easily say that the DC/president has to sign off the certificate card. Because when you think about it, what do they do? Like, I'm sorry, I never visited branch rallies and attended club competitions. Sorry, I was a pretty bad one. But I did have to verify compliance of rally attendance and competitions. I did have to do that. But when I was a club president, I had to do the same thing. I see, you have to appoint the examiners. So this could be actually a bit of a rewrite between what goes where when looking at here. I'll just get this big again. So it could be a little bit of a rewrite of what those positions look like. And we'd be calling out for those conversations and going, are these position descriptors, as I said before, they're not actually in this constitution. They're in the constitutions below. Sorry, there was a question there. If you just want to read out the question, because I can't pick it up when I've got both screens, sorry.
Would the DC be at the admin layer? We've just talked about that. It's at the club layer.
Yeah, so they could easily, you guys decide and go, what's best for you? So is it best to have them on the modelling when we get to the page? This is how you're currently structured, and these are your figures as of March 25. So you've got your under 25s, we've got our adults, and then we've got our horse masters. So that's how we're currently sitting in your area as March 25. These are the figures that are taken from for the annual report, and the writing member numbers are the ones that will be giving you your votes at the AGM. Oh, let's just go to the next page. So the next page has got a little bit of more modelling of what you could do. And this is where we do a bit of a play and we have a chat and you like what you did look. So, I've heard that there's the idea of changing the name. And then if you did take those layers out, the club layer out, and all of the branches became clubs in their own right, that is what you could possibly look like and be
And what's your
workable.
recommendation? Lizzie, what's your recommendation to how many people should be on that? Let's just use our Iraqi hub. Like, do you take 2 from each club or 1 from each club, or is that something that we make a decision on, or how does that how are you?
I would
how's that happening?
currently, like up here in Ashburton, North Canterbury, South Otago, do you take 2 delegates from each club? Because you wouldn't really have enough without it, would you?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
you'd probably say we'll take 1 from each club, and take 1 from each club to make, or if you wanted 2, but you could take 1, definitely 1 delegate. We were looking at Waitemata Rodney last week, and they're doing the same, and they were looking at, they'd have 16 clubs where they've decided 16 might be too many, that they'd take 8. They do turnabout. So if you had heaps, that'd be turnabout, but you might have 2 delegates because they can't always go, but Methven could have 2, but only expectation that 1 votes at a time, or so Methven, Mill Creek, Rakaya, you all have a delegate that goes to the next layer meetings. You know, you're all big enough to go by yourself, but if you didn't want to go by yourself, I don't think I've got a next screen, you could try and retain some of the names, you could have venues underneath, you could do multiple different things.
So the
Yeah.
constitution won't determine what that quantity is. That's our decision.
Well, like it will probably be at least one person, but no, it's not currently in that constitution. No.
Right. Okay.
And I don't even think it's in the area constitution as it is currently. It doesn't say that each club must send 3 delegates or 2 delegates. I think it just says delegates, and you decide what the delegate number is.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah. But there are other places like North Otago, when you had all your branches, are you just in one venue now, or do you have multiple places that you go for rallies? Because remember, you can be nomadic.
Generally,
Yeah,
we
just
one.
one.
Yeah, just one venue. Yep.
Yeah, but remembering you.
Such a simple
Sorry.
area. We are a really simple area. No one owns land. There's eight of us. Like it's pretty simple to make decisions for us, isn't it? Is that how everyone feels?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Just
you'd
a
all be
question, sorry.
responsible.
Just do you guys have your leases? Is any of the land leased with councils?
We have
Yes,
an agreement with the
Different.
racecourse.
Okay.
It's not a
But
paid
no
lease,
one's-
though, is it?
Yeah, but no one's merging or anything. You're all staying.
not at the moment. Everyone's strong enough to keep going in their
Yeah.
own right at the moment, and we'll can keep an eye on things and work with numbers as they change. But at the moment, we're pretty stable in what we've got at the moment.
You're definitely stable, and it's the point that the numbers are just next April, and you're pretty stable and all of that, and you've had great meetings and discussions and things, and you know that because Ashburton is no longer in this picture, Ashburton's assets here. My recommendation would be Ashburton's assets would be going to Methven, Mill Creek and Rakaya, but that's up to you to decide. I've had other areas go, well, actually we'll give our assets higher, but the most general recommendation is that they are absorbed by and Timwell, sorry, didn't see you over there, but they'd be absorbed in there. That you're kind of under North Otago, and same thing with South Canterbury, is that Geraldine, Pleasant Point and Waimate, those assets would be all coming together for those kids because that's where they've come from.
And your recommendation is to do it by, say we've got 20,000. Your recommendation is do it by the 4 clubs, not by members, isn't it? Because it
I think personally, historically, your clubs go in different cycles around and around and around, and over the time you've probably all put the same amount in. So I would personally go a quarter. I've had other clubs go, absolutely not. We're going to do it based on the average of our members over 2 years. Now, can you provide the figures? And I'm like, oh, maybe. Oh, hopefully. And yeah, so some are going to go, okay, we've got 20, in total, we've got 157 members. I'm just taking your bottom number. Each member is worth that much of the equation and all of this. It just gets complicated. Where if you agree that Ashburton's got 4 clubs, all of you get a quarter of those assets done.
That's going to be interesting, splitting up the dressage arenas, guys.
Well, you might not.
I knew you were going to bring those up.
No, but what I was just going to say that. What I was just going to say is, but if you've got an asset like a jumps trailer and a dressage arena, you might just have a memorandum of understanding and go, it's going to live at the central one. So I'm in Katikati, which is Tauranga, Katikati, Otamoto, Te Puna, Greaton and Papamoa. It can live at the racecourse because it's currently at the racecourse, and if I really needed to use it, I get to use it.
So we have dressage arenas that are with the dressage club. That's the thing, and they think they own them, but we,
you own them, but they think they do.
But then some of them are mums in our pony club as well, so it's
Yeah,
I think we need to build our own trailer, guys, and then it can travel around.
Good idea.
It is where things get messy, especially at collective groups. And I know where I'm from, they've got a beautiful cross country course on a property that's owned by the council. The assets are the fact that the cross country jumps are there. There's a container there, and there's show jumps there. So they're looking at, like, we've already got the ability to have like event structures. So in the Wellington, there's a place called Battle Hill, a similar thing. It owns the cross country course, and Battle Hill's its own incorporated society affiliated to New Zealand Pony Club because the members are the pony clubs that own the assets. So if you really owned massive amounts of assets on, cross country courses and things like that, like some of you end up getting amazing Springston courses and they're not that old, then you can collectively look at like a side incorporated society. We've already got that. We've had it since 2012 when Graham Soul was the GM, was already done. But you guys sound like you've got a really good structure and idea evolved. So you obviously thought about other things, and I haven't even put them on the layer here of, you could have said goodbye to Ashburton, South Canterbury, North Otago, and South Canterbury being a hub, North Otago being a hub, and Ashburton being a hub, and just being like that. But that would be quite little hubs.
We held some Zoom meetings beforehand, and the feedback was that most of the area, everyone wanted to stay together pretty much. Everyone was happy. I think we're working together really well. And I think it'll be good. It will make us more inclusive as an area, and I only see it get things improving really. That was the feedback we got. Obviously there could be others that are feeling differently, but we haven't actually heard anyone saying otherwise. So
I know that collectively you run very good events for Champs Week, but I also know that you all know that you can still run events independently with those groups. You're all, a group doesn't need a huge amount of people if we think differently how to run events, and we just make it compulsory that everyone comes to our event, provides a helper. I did that with Tauranga show jumping a few years ago. And in America, at Pony Club in America, at their festival, if you enter, you're providing a helper no matter what. No excuses. You're not busy 24/7 at that event, so you must provide a helper. It was really interesting. It was just a different mindset. Okay, well, since we've looked at that page, I'll just reiterate that this is consultation. We need your feedback. And I'm going to take you for a little tour of where you can find everything, but I'm sure you already know. So on our New Zealand Pony Club site, we've made a page dedicated to our constitution. And so tomorrow morning, there will be a little green box under yours, and your recording will be sitting around about there, and everything else will move down. So you'll get your recording. You're invited to take our member survey. We'd love you all to take it. You don't need to do it together. Just give us your thoughts and your feedback. You don't have to put your name or your email in, but if you have a question and you want an answer from it, I do need your email, because I won't be able to figure it out otherwise. You only have to tell us which area you're in and what your current role is best described. And if you strongly support, somewhat support, you're neutral, you're opposing, you're strongly opposed, you're not sure. This is completely confidential, and any impacts you think. If you think there are other things that we haven't considered, like the DCs, pop it in there. And on here, if you're not sure, when I said about the other changes, it's in that down in the middle on the first slides that we did, the welcome introduction slides. There's the proposal of the changes, the 3 big changes. So this document, if you're not sure, so if you don't agree that we don't have, that the president role stays, that's where you need to put it. You need to put it in that survey. Or if you think that our current disputes process is brilliant and we shouldn't change it, that is where you need to put it into that survey as well, and any questions. And then just press next. So that is the survey. Where am I going? No, this way.
Can you do that survey more than once if you've kind of, after you get more information, you've got more questions?
I'm happy for you to do it more than once if you'd like to. If you've got questions, just questions, there is a question and answer. There is a question part here. I have a question, and I check that all the time as well. So if you've got a question, you can lodge a question at any time, and that comes directly to me, and I can respond to your question. But once again, if I don't have your email, I can't respond to you. But all the questions that are coming up, there's 22 pages of them. They're all here, and it's a live document. So as questions go up, they come through. Okay. But I'm happy to take your questions. I'm happy to take your phone call. I'm happy to meet with you. This week, I'm pretty much full every night. I'm luckily taking the China team to the airport tomorrow to pick a couple of them up, to take them to the airport. Yes, Sue.
You talked about the changes to the disputes process. What are they going to look like?
So it says in here, it's going to be a clearer disputes process in line with Sports NZ best practice. So what does that actually mean? It means that if there's a current policy in place or legislation in place that is outside my jurisdiction, as in it's a civil matter, it won't be going through my process. So if you feel that someone's done something that is like it was a fight at the pony club grounds and you had to call the police deal with it. So it's about the legislation. So it's about what comes into where.
I've got a question, Lizzie. So at the moment, I'm the treasurer for area, and I'm one of the ones who wants to get rid of the layers. So we get levies that go from branch to club to area, and then we send NZPCA, and I know we send them money for admin and all the work you do. I'm not complaining about the money being spent. Can you look at adding that onto our national members fee instead? Because I worked it out and it's like $7 or something. So it'd be really neat. And so then we're losing that admin.
Yeah, I'd love you to put that in the thing, and we've discussed that. We've discussed that of putting that up into the member fees. But I must say, also, every area in New Zealand collects their levies differently. Te Amutu Pony Club, or one of the pony clubs I was talking with, I think it's Te Amutu, they charge the riders the national levy, the pony club national levy, no fees for themselves. They don't, and then they pay the Waikato fees to them. So every area does differently of how it collects their fees. In the Bay of Plenty, when I first joined, we didn't pay as a club fees to area as in a levy. We paid an event levy. So every event we ran had a $2 levy put on it. So if you had 6 gymkhanas with 100 riders, every time you had a gymkhana, $2 per rider went straight to that fund. So that's how they collected it.
Yeah, and I understand that, but that's just another admin that people have to deal with. That's what I'm saying.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, put it in there that we just put it onto the riders membership. We increased the membership to NZPCA, and it goes straight directly there. Yeah,
because it's not that you don't deserve it, nothing like that. It's just saves the amount of work every year. We all sit down and go, right, okay, what do we need?
Yeah,
it's like,
no, absolutely. And that's the thing, I never even understood until I went to my first area meeting that there was any such things. It was like, why are we paying fees to New Zealand Pony Club? What did they do? God, they just sit around drinking coffee all day. You know,
no, and you were very good at coming. You came back to me and gave me quite a big description when I asked last time, which was probably 2 years ago or whenever it was. But it's just another bit of admin, and I think it's just the understanding for everybody that they're paying that to area, and what does area do? Well, actually, area is paying it to NZPCA. So.
Yeah, and you guys do heaps too. Like you're running your areas, you're coordinating exams. At the moment you're coordinating Inter-Pacific, all of that stuff. And the only other place I want to show you on the website, I've got lots of things I like to show you on the website, especially horse welfare, but I'm not allowed to go there at the moment. We've got not enough time. Is if you are coming to conference, remember, if you're not coming to conference, you need to electronic vote. But if you are coming to conference, it's close by. It is in Christchurch, so it's not that far away for you. You probably won't have to fly. If you fly, you might be flying from tomorrow. No, you won't be flying. So please come along. I know it's a nice road to drive. Been on it a few times now. Conference registration is here. The Friday is open to all. It's no longer an area forum with just the 15 areas, and then we repeat it all on Sunday. It's a national forum, and it's open to all. So that's where all of the discussion about Champs Week and eventing champs will happen. And on the Saturday and Sunday, we are definitely doing very much practical workshops, like really practical. Like I was working with people over the weekend, and we were like, one of the topics was probably not you guys, because you sound amazing, from fiction to functional. How to take a club through those processes of change, or what does the committee do? How to run a committee, and all of those. So we're looking for really practical workshops to help you out. You can stay at the Shadow on the Park, or you can just go across the road and stay at Tower of the Park for a lot cheaper. We've made it the same. I think we might have even made it slightly cheaper. And the big thing is the AGM is free. So if you're coming just to the AGM, it's free. It's first thing on Sunday morning. And there is no nominate fee. So we've really honed it in of wanting to give it bang for buck. Registration's there. If you want a letter to say that you need to come for conference for a funding application, I am more than happy to write you a letter saying how wonderful conference is and we'd love you there. So yeah, that's a little bit on that. But back to this. Mom, it's like, no, I'm too slow. I'm too tired.
Is there any more questions? Oh, Lizzie,
what's the likelihood? What's your feeling about it going through? I asked you today, but
yeah, I don't actually, I'm not on the board. I think it's at the moment it's being viewed really positively. We've got to get 75% as a constitutional change, just like a uniform change in a school. So it's quite a large figure. The feedback is definitely on that more positive side. So it's just that is it enough feedback to be considered strong feedback. You know what I mean?
Right, okay.
So with 5 areas still to go, I'm really excited. And at the end of the day, I'm really excited with the feedback because it talks really strongly about volunteers and the understanding of why this is being proposed, because we want to make what we want to do is we want to make NZPCA successful. We want to keep it successful. We want to see you guys wanting to stay in Pony Club, and if that means one less meeting or one less committee, we want to see it thriving. We want to see it with more kids, or at least the same amount of kids and members. We want to see our committees are full. We don't want to see you being the president and something else in the committee. We want to see some retention, but some building up of membership and getting that knowledge, so we just don't rely on the historic members. Yeah. So my screen's decided it's not going to share anymore. It's like, no. Sorry about that.
So I have a question.
Yep.
Even if it doesn't go through nationally, are we able to do it
Yes.
in our, like drop? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good question.
Absolutely.
Great question.
And I've had that from quite a few people. They've said, even if it doesn't go through nationally, can we do this? Absolutely. I'd love to see areas taking it on board and going, hey, it worked from us, because we do know that change is scary. We do know that change is, it's unknown. So it's like, I love it. I love that. There's a great book. It's called Who Stole My Cheese? If you ever want to read it, it's really good about change. But it's about just taking it on and having a go.
It's brought out how passionate people are about Pony Club, hasn't it?
Yeah. And that's the only reason I'm here. I love Pony Club. I was like, so love it. I just think it's such a great organization. And it's why you guys are here too. How many of you have actually still got kids in Pony Club? You're like, no, but I'm still here because it's just so good.
Yeah, that's true. No, and these webinars have been amazing. It's engaged so many people, and we've had so many positive, good, and great questions and really good suggestions for going forward.
Yeah, I've probably seen about 250 on them. And I'd never have seen 250 at any conference or anything ever before. And it's great to re-meet people and see people and go, get that connection. And I've been Maureen's writer at show jumping, haven't I, Maureen?
Yep.
Cool.
Excellent. Well, thanks, guys. If there's no more questions, but if you've got a question, don't feel scared. Just email me, call me. Sometimes we're a little bit slow at getting back, maybe a day or so, but I'll try and do my best to get back to you as soon as possible.
I just want to say thanks, Lizzie, for this, and I just want to apologise. I know Pip's been ringing you probably 3 times a day for the last 2 months, but she's very passionate.
Well, she actually, today I was quite tired, and I said to her, she said some nice words, and I almost cried. So I was like, oh, thank you. Oh.
No, she's been great going through all of this and keeping us all engaged and bringing everyone on board. So it's been, thanks, Pip.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you. I just love the support. And guys, we're here for you. Anytime. You don't feel that you can never contact us. We're definitely here for you. We're here for New Zealand Pony Club and our members. Just want to make it
you've been so easy to contact.
Definitely, Lizzie. You've been great.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to coming down. I've already got my accommodation booked for Champs Week.
Oh, the Camelot.
Yes, the Camelot. My Hobbit room.
Thank you guys very much, and it's amazing to hear you are getting all your support that you need from Lizzie. And again, remember, if there's anything else that the board can help with, reach out.
Yeah,
thank you. Oh, just before you go, so that the AGM will hold workshops on like our setups, our new incorporated. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay.
Yeah, it will definitely have incorporated society. And if you're going to go to I think definitely have a 3-layer structure. how to make changes to your current structure would definitely be a workshop. So those that want to do it, even if it's not the constitution we present, can and be our pilots, be our little woo.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and all the checklists, we're definitely there to support you 100% of the way, because I want to keep areas going. I don't want to be, because I was on branch, club, area, and driving hours. This was before Zoom. Yeah, and that day I almost woke up hitting a bridge was like my big moment of I can't do this anymore,
Just quickly, what are your thoughts on the name change? I mean, I know we
I think
haven't
it's
put it out
great.
to all of our members,
Yeah.
but yeah, just our other areas, clusters, hubs changing their names as well, or not, or do you think?
No, I don't know if they are or not. I don't know if they've considered it, but I really like it that you've oh no, I do know that Gisborne and Wairoa want to be called potentially Tairāwhiti. They did bring that up. It's not a definite, but we're open to name changes, and I've even had a suggestion that in the central North Island we have a name/district change from King Country to like a central plateau or something like that. Like a Urua Peihu or something, I'm not sure. Yeah,
It's
so
just
I
ours
think
is so long. Ours is so long for anything, and most people forget the last bit. It's usually just Ashburton.
Well, people put, that's right, Maureen, they put ASCNO. It's like, oh,
I'm sorry, I've done that. I'm sorry, I've done that to you before, but I like it. I think it reflects. I actually think it reflects a really nice hint of New Zealand, and it brings it into a nice, relevant today. So yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear your name change. What have you suggested?
We've had a suggestion for Aoraki to be our new area name. I mean, obviously there's been a suggestion. We haven't put it to the vote yet, but we've sort of received mostly positive feedback.
Oh, that's
I've only heard one person that's not really for it, but yeah, that's
what I keep on saying to people. They're like to me, what happens if I don't agree with it and it gets voted in? It's like, well, it's just like any democracy. If something gets voted in, we go with it. It's just like a government or it's like you have to just share it, and unfortunately that's how it goes.
Yes, we're menopausal women, some of us.
Just some of us.
Just some of us.
Yeah, just some of us.
I think what I'm quite excited sorry, it wasn't to say something. What I'm quite excited about is the fact that we can all kind of work with each other more, because what I have found with coming back into the Pony Club system, and I don't have children, so this is all just full voluntary, everything that I do with the Pony Club just for the love of children and riding. The fact that we can work together with other now clubs, and it's not just standalone, and it's better for the kids, because one club can't do everything themselves, and they just don't have enough rallies in the year to get these kids through certificates, to get these kids through instruction. And if we can all work together like we are currently, it's just going to be a really good option for everybody, for the kids.
Absolutely. And there's nothing stopping you going, okay, there's a rally. I don't know your locations apart from I've been driven past, but there's nothing stopping and going, actually, we've got a rally today in Methven, and come along, Geraldine, or anyone who wants to. And that's what's happening in Tauranga. The Greaton Little Branch is like got rallies all the time and inviting everyone. It's just like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Resourcing.
That's wicked.
I love that. I love that, Bronwyn. I love that observation. And that's what we talked about. Do any of you at the coaches conference over the weekend? Yeah, so that's what we kind of talked about over the weekend as well. So, yeah.
It's super pleasing to hear that you guys are all working together and it's all happening. So well done, you.
Love it.
Yeah, use us for pilots. Anything, bring it on.
Oh, you'll be my gold stars.
I reckon.
Oh, and just so you know, at conference, the awards dinner's theme is really easy: sneakers and sparkles.
Oh,
It was Sports NZ's last year. It was very easy to go and dress up with sneakers on and some sparkles. So easy. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. We're here anytime. Love to get your questions. Love to get you doing the survey, and we're here to help. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Thank you.
No worries.
Bye
See you
all.
later. And I'll get
Thank
it
Thanks
out
everyone for
tomorrow.
coming. Thanks
Thank
everyone for
you.
coming.
Yeah. Thank you.
I reckon.
Fantastic.
Did you turn the recording off, Lizzie?
Oh no, we'll keep recording. Stop recording.